This is Bloomberg Businessweek with Carol Massar and Tim Stenovec on Bloomberg Radio.
Well, Tim, as you know, in 2021, crypto went mainstream with the likes of celebrities from Tom Brady to Matt Damon endorsing it. Investment funds were buying it. TV ads hailed it as the future of money, and retail traders were making a fortune off of Dogecoin, which was originally created as a joke in 2013. So was it all just a game of epic proportions? Well, a new book by Bloomberg's own Zeke dives deep into this. It's called Number Go Up: Inside Crypto's Wild Rise and Staggering Fall. He went on a quest spanning across the world to understand what's behind the crypto bubble. He brings readers inside Sam Bankman-Fried's penthouse as the fallen crypto king faced imminent arrest, but he also discovered the crypto hell on the other side of a spam text, where he uncovers a crypto-powered human trafficking ring in Cambodia. It's really fascinating, Zeke. So we're very pleased to have Zeke Faux here, financial investigations and reporter here at Bloomberg News. He's here with us in the Bloomberg Interactive Broker studio. So it's hard to figure out where exactly to start off, but what was the motivation, obviously, of going into this, and how long it took you to sort of span across the world to write this book?
So ever since I was like a kid, I wanted to write like a crazy nonfiction story. Like I loved like John Krakauer's Into Thin Air or Ben Mesrich's Bringing Down the House about the MIT blackjack kids. But I never found a story crazy enough to turn into a whole book, because the last thing I want to do is bore anyone. And right. Once I was kind of resistant to crypto, but once I jumped in, I started meeting all these like wild billionaires and hustlers and con men and scammers. And like at some point, maybe when I found myself on one crazy crypto billionaire's yacht off the Bahamas, I was like, wait, this is the adventure. Like, you're on it right now. This is what you got to write about. And I ended up spending 2 years going down this rabbit hole. And yeah, I don't know that the world will ever see a financial mania like this, like, ever again.
And we're still in the midst of it too. I mean, we see big moves in crypto, not like we saw a couple of years ago, Zeke, but you know, we're not done talking about crypto at this point. There's a lot that sticks out to me from the book, but there's this one quote that I want to read to our audience. From the beginning, I had thought that crypto was pretty dumb, and it turned out to be even dumber than I imagined. So even after spending years working on this book, talking to crypto billionaires, diving into these cryptocurrencies, you still think crypto's dumb?
I think that if anyone who's lived through like these last couple of years, I don't think we can just like memory hold that. Like I went to one of the first places I went was Bitcoin 2021, this big conference in Miami right after COVID restrictions
That's
lifted.
The one where everybody got COVID.
Yes, not me. I became convinced after that I was immune to COVID and I would never get COVID, but pretty soon after that I did get COVID. But like, I'm meeting some of these guys were really legit at the time. Like I met Celsius's Alex Mashinsky. He was like talking to everybody, and he was promising 18% yields if you deposited your savings with his company. And he told me when we met, somebody's lying. Either the banks are lying that they can only pay 0%, or Celsius is lying that we can safely deliver 18%. And like a couple of weeks ago, he got arrested. Just like a huge number of the founders that I met are now facing lawsuits or bankruptcy or criminal charges. So I do think there probably is some good cryptocurrency company out there. I'm not going to be the one to spend the effort to sift through like another giant pile of scammers to find it.
Something that struck me too, because you did travel to all these different hotspots, from you're in Manhattan to Miami, you're in Bahamas, like you mentioned earlier, El Salvador to the Philippines. And so you were talking about how that you did see a lot of empty hype and a lot of scams. And what struck me was this new kind of investment fraud that you found, where it often started with a text, and it was a scam called pig butchering. Explain what that is and how that actually ended up happening to you.
So pig butchering is when someone approaches you with a spam text. Like, we all get them. And it's like, hey, Dave, did you get the milk for the cat on your way home? Like, they're like a little off.
Right.
But if you write back, they'll try to make friends with you. And often the person at the other end will pretend to be like an attractive young Asian woman. and they'll start dropping hints about they have a rich uncle who's able to make these really profitable crypto trades. And I got one of these texts and started playing along and developed a pen pal friendship with this person who was saying their name was Vicky Ho. And she eventually told me, hey, buy 100 tethers, which are like a mainstream stable coin you can get on Coinbase or crypto.com or any of the like normal crypto apps, and send them to this other crypto app called ZBXS. And Vicky promised me that if I did that, she was going to introduce me to profitable short-term node trades that would generate reliable 30% returns. And like, we all know this is nonsense, but in this like crypto world, like where for a couple of years it seemed like anything was possible, a lot of people were falling for this. People sent in hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars. One expert that I spoke to estimated that $10 billion had been lost to these crypto romance scams. And the crypto plays two roles in it. One is it's the story that gets people to send their money. And the other thing is that you can go on crypto exchanges, acquire these tether tokens very easily, and then zap them over, and you'll never get them back. It's anonymous. There's no way for the authorities to trace them.
This portion of the book that Jess is referring to is was in the book, but we also were able to get you to talk to us about it a couple of weeks ago, Zeke. It was featured in the August 21st issue of Bloomberg Businessweek, excerpted in there. You also, I got to tell you, after our conversation and reading that excerpt, Zeke, I started thinking about those spam texts in a completely different way. Because it's really ugly, the truth there. I mean, you spoke to somebody who had escaped from essentially prison or slavery, indentured servitude, by cobbling together an iPhone, making an iPhone work by essentially hotwiring it.
Yeah, so that is the really dark part, is that the people on the other end of these texts are often...
It's not Vicky.
Yeah, they're like, Vicky disappeared, never found out who she was. But what I did find out is that a lot of the people sending these messages, they're people from Southeast Asia who've been tricked into traveling to Cambodia and then trapped in, like, legitimately, sounds like a conspiracy theory, but I've seen it with my own eyes, huge, like, office towers filled with floor after floor of people who are sending these spam text messages around the clock. So that the person that sent you that kind of nonsense text, like, it's not a bot. It could be someone who is being threatened with beatings, other torture, who can't leave this job without paying a ransom. And like you said, I spoke to Twee, who was victimized in this way and had raised money for the ransom from a YouTuber. And when I spoke to him, he returned to Ho Chi Minh City in Vietnam. And he told this crazy, MacGyver-ish story about how he was able to get an iPhone and charge it using no tools and a fluorescent lamp.
And he had to smuggle the iPhone in.
So his story was that he had stolen it from the guards, but not the charger. He had secreted it inside himself, a trick that he learned in prison, and that when he was alone, he took this iPhone apart and peeled out the battery and then hotwired it to a fluorescent lamp. And so very respectfully, when we were together in Vietnam, I was like, Twee, I don't think you can do that. Like I'm very sorry for what you went through, but like, are you sure? Is that really true? And he was like, I'll show you right now. We bought an iPhone. He took it apart with no tools, took apart a LED lamp in my hotel room, wired the battery to this lamp, charged it, and turned it right on. I was floored.
Wow. We are very pleased to continue our conversation right now with Zeke Fox. He's financial investigations reporter for Bloomberg News. He's with us in the Bloomberg Interactive Brokers studio. He's got a brand new book out. It's out today. You've seen the excerpts everywhere, including in Bloomberg Businessweek magazine. It's called Number Go Up, Inside Crypto's Wild Rise and Staggering Fall. Zeke's right here with us in the Bloomberg Interactive Brokers studio. Zeke, the Bored Ape Yacht Club. Everybody was doing this a few years ago. And by everybody, I mean if you had like tens of millions or hundreds of millions of dollars, you were a celebrity, maybe you went on Jimmy Fallon and talked about a Bored Ape. What are these things? And you actually bought one.
Yeah, I mean, so much of this crypto boom was just like pretty silly. And one of the silliest parts that I really liked was the Bored Ape Yacht Club. And these are like cartoon images of monkeys, and it's like a JPEG. You can see it. You can download it. You can have it on your computer. But if you want to have the right to say that you own this particular cartoon image of a monkey on the blockchain, you got to pay $500,000, something like that. And for a while, a lot of celebrities were doing it.
Why?
Great question. Well, basically, if you're a celebrity, first of all, there's some accusations that celebrities may not have paid.
Really?
I think they mostly deny it.
Okay.
But there's some accusations that there were discounts to be had.
Okay.
Okay.
But set that aside. Basically, for a while, it's hard to imagine now. This was only like a year ago. It was cool to be like with it and to change your name to like Jimmy Fallon on Twitter became Jimmy, maybe like jimmyfallon.eth.
Right.
And then he picked
for
as
Ethereum, right?
Yes, to show that you're with it, you know about the future of finance, and you make your profile picture one of these monkeys. And like we all laugh at it now.
You don't see a lot of those these days, I'll tell you that.
That's true.
Yeah, a lot. The celebrities have mostly taken them off, but I got a lot of people are giving me a hard time in crypto world. I go to these conferences, and a lot of people would ask me, well, "What do you got? What's in your portfolio?" And at first I tried to explain like, "Hey, the presidential biographers, they're never the president. Sports writers can't hit a fastball." But they didn't like this answer, and I was like, you know what? Maybe there's something I am missing. I got to try this out for myself. And if I'm going to try it, I want to go straight for the top. I want to join the Bored Ape Yacht Club.
Wow.
And luckily, even though the good ones cost $500,000, there was sort of a Bored Ape derivative called a mutant ape. Now, these were same idea, little JPEG picture of a monkey, but sort of melted because it had drunk some sort of vile potion or something.
Of course.
Yeah, so it's like an even uglier picture. And I was able, I sat down with my wife and I was like, Nikki, for the book, there's something important I got to talk with you about. Like, my research has taken me to a weird place, and it turns out that in order to go to this party, it was a week-long party headlined by Snoop and Eminem, where I would get to meet elite crypto traders, join their like inner sanctum and see what's really going on. You had to have a Bored Ape to go to the party, and I'd really like to buy one. And then like, okay, I'm like, so how much do you think I'm about to ask you for? Because I kind of was curious. She's like, well, like you sat me down. It's probably like at least $5,000. And I'm like, it's $40,000. And I was just trying not to laugh. The way book publishing works, you get paid in advance. So I had this money, but like we this is a lot of money. Like, this pay for a year of college,
no,
like a couple weeks
like
of
a
college.
quarter of college.
Yeah.
Right. It's still a big
Sorry,
chunk
Zeke,
of money.
Your kids are too young.
So like Nikki's face contorted into this look of horror, but she's really supportive of the project. She saw that this was important and that the reader would want me to do it. And so I bought this mutant ape, and it was actually, I named him Dr. Scum. He had a sweater made of maggots, and there's a lot of, in this NFT world, there's a lot of like talk of community. And so I'm like, I'm going to go for it. I'm joining the community. I came up with I named him Dr. Scum, and I said that he would get superpowers by smoking weed. But there were a lot of problems with this plan, which I learned, which first of all, you have to buy the NFT, you have to you have to actually do crypto. This means like when you go on Coinbase or Robinhood, that's not really doing crypto. You need to like buy these coins and send them to MetaMask, like a crypto wallet. And it sounds real legit right now. Maybe you've heard about it. But what this means in practice is that your money lives like in Google Chrome. There's like a red icon where you have the ad block near the URL. Then you install another icon that's a picture of a fox. And when you install this icon, it makes you watch a video. They say this I'm not making this up. They're like, if you lose this password, your money will be gone. And they make in the video, they're like, engrave this password on a metal disc and bury it in your backyard. And I'm like, okay, I'm not doing that.
First of all, nobody in New York has backyards.
Yeah, but,
that's true.
But like, it was so terrifying to send by the time I bought it, the price had crashed to $20,000, which was kind of good, but also scary. So I had to send my $20,000 from Bank of America to the Foxhead icon. And like, Bank of America called me. they're like, we think you're being scammed. Are you sure you want to do this? And I was like, I've never appreciated the banking system more. Yes, I am being scammed, and I want to do it. Send this wire
Nikki
through.
said it was okay.
Yeah.
She approved.
So when I got to the 8 Fest, it was a bunch of drunk dudes. It's a good party. Snoop and Eminem were really there, but like everyone's wasted, everybody's stoned. Nobody wants to hear about Dr. Scum. People act like I'm not cool because my ape sucks. It's the cheapest one. Even like pimply teenagers have way better apes, like $1 million apes. And I did see Jimmy Fallon there. And since the prices had crashed recently, I wanted to talk with him. So he went behind like the velvet rope and was like, "Hey Jimmy, check out Dr. Scum." He was like, gave me like a pretend interested look. And then I was like, "Hey man, like you had a whole segment on your show promoting these with like Paris Hilton. Now everyone's lost like real money." And he was, "What do you say?" And he was just like, "Oh, I did it for the community." And I was like, "All right."
Wow.
All right, and you don't have Dr. Scum anymore, Zeke?
No more.
Unloaded him at a $2,000 loss. Never been so happy.
All right. Hey, this and more in Zeke's brand new book, Number Go Up, Inside Crypto's Wild Rise and Staggering Fall. Zeke Fox is financial investigations reporter for Bloomberg News. His new book, Number Go Up, it is out today. You can buy it anywhere you get your books. You're listening and watching Bloomberg Businessweek.